How's it going out there, everybody? Hope you're doing well wherever you are. Repeat movie viewer, here to share my thoughts and opinions on movies to my family and friends, and anyone else who's willing to listen. I'm sure there's a couple of you out there that wouldn't mind.
I am.
Well, you're already subscribed, so... Okay.
I could do it again.
I think you fit into the family and friends category.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
I don't know, it's just me. But anyway, we're just minutes away, literally minutes away, tick-tock, minutes away from going to watch... What are we going to watch?
Dracula.
Oh, Dracula, right. We're doing a double feature today, so I forgot which one we're doing first. But yes, we're going to see Dracula. Apparently this is a French film, came out during the summer, is what I read about this movie, and they were gracious enough to bring it over here in the States, so thank you for that. And to say, I mean, as you can tell from my shirt, I am a fan of the original Universal monster movie, so yes, I am a fan of the original Dracula film with Bela Lugosi, leading into the Hammer horror films, which I'm also a fan of those. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the Francis Ford Coppola film. I've seen that movie a couple of times. I don't know. I need to watch it again. It wasn't my cup of tea, especially the creature rape scene just didn't do it for me, but that's just me. But then again, you know, the tree raping scene in the original Evil Dead, that one didn't do anything for me either.
That was something.
Yeah, that was something. So, how excited are you to see this?
I am iffy. I've heard iffy things.
Like, what have you heard?
Well, I've heard that there were a lot of bad reviews?
Yes. People talking about things that are happening that don't pertain to the movie is what we're referring to?
Like my daughter does that.
Yeah, I remember her comments, yes. But you know what? Honestly, when it comes to watching movies, I typically try to keep whatever's going on in the real world that pertains to the movie, like certain people, allegations, and stuff like that. I prefer to keep that separated from the movie because that's two different things, in my opinion. I try not to let that ruin my experience. If I let that kind of stuff ruin my movie experience, I wouldn't have even bothered watching Snow White last year. With all the nonsense that Rachel Zegler was talking before the film came out, you know what I mean? But for me, I gotta separate that stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
But I've heard what you're talking about. We won't go into detail. Yeah. We don't want to focus on the negative here. But bottom line here, it's a new Dracula film. And I'm looking forward to checking it out. Hopefully it's interesting. Hopefully it brings something different to the mythology of the character. Hopefully. Two things I will address that I am going to keep my eye out for. Number one, Danny Elfman does the music.
Oh, really?
You should have seen the hell tit. Like, really? Like, yeah. Danny Elfman, you know, you've heard of Danny Elfman. He's done one or two...
Really?
I couldn't do that with a straight face. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of Danny Elfman. He's done a lot of stuff over the years. I think I've told you, you know that he did the singing voice of Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yes, I think you did too.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you remember that. So that's pretty cool. The other thing about this movie that I'm going to keep an eye on is one of the main actors in the film, Christoph Waltz. Oh my God, yes, I am so happy he's in this. And how awesome is that for an actor of his caliber to be not only in the new Del Toro Frankenstein that came out back in December, but now he's in a Dracula film. It's like, dude, you're in a Frankenstein film, and now you're in a Dracula film. As an actor, that's got to be freaking awesome. If I was an actor, that would make me super happy. But I'm not an actor, so
no.
I probably could be, but I don't think I have the chops for it. I think I'm better off just doing stuff like this. This is better. But I think that's pretty much everything I want to say about the movie before we go in. And we're going to go watch Crime 101 afterwards. I'll do my pre-screening talking about that before we go watch that movie. So, Dracula. Here's hoping that it's interesting. Here's hoping it's good. I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. One viewing later. Well, let's see. Dracula first viewing. 2025 Dracula, to be exact. You know what? Thumbs up. What do you think?
I'd say a thumbs up too.
That sounds a little hesitant there.
Well,
No?
it's not hesitant. Like I have a lot of thoughts on the movie.
She's got thoughts. Uh-oh. Bum, bum, bum.
Not bad. It's not bad thoughts. It's just thoughts.
I mean, me personally, I definitely enjoyed this movie. Story-wise, it is very much on par. I mean, I've only seen the Francis Ford Coppola film a couple of times, and as I mentioned before, I'm not the biggest fan of that particular film. But I feel like this one is very similar to that particular film in a lot of ways. So I could see a lot of people seeing that as like highly derivative. But here's my thing. Yes, it is similar to that film. A lot of the different story beats are pretty much similar. I just feel like this movie kind of did it better. And let me get specific. Like the Dracula character versus Gary Oldman's version, which, don't get me wrong, I love Gary Oldman, but I feel like he played a very kind of over-the-top type of character when he was Dracula back at the castle. Whereas this one, in this film, he's a little bit calmer, more subdued. I don't know. I found him to be a more of an interesting character, personally. And overall, I just feel like, I don't know, as far as like the different scenes that happen in this movie, I don't know. I just feel like, again, I just think it all flowed better. Remember you had something to say about Gary Oldman's performance in the original 92 version?
I really didn't like that one.
Well, what didn't you like about it?
He was
over the top?
Way over the top. Like
especially with the haircut. The hairstyle.
Yeah, he looked like he was, I don't know, that hair is,
Mickey
makes
Mouse?
every woman jealous. That kind of hair. Yeah, kind of like a white Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. I'll probably take that
but
out.
See,
that's
even
silly.
in this Dracula, they used the same, almost the same hairstyle, just dubbed it down a bit.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, not as rounded off, so to speak. So I can honestly say, as somebody who has been a fan of the Dracula films for the past so many years now, I have seen a lot of the different interpretations of the character. I'm not saying this is the best, in my opinion, but I think this is one of the better Dracula performances that I've ever seen. I really enjoyed the way the actor tackled this particular film. The role, I should say. Since we're on the subject about roles and actors, Christoph Waltz, big ups to him in this role. I really feel like he did a good job of it. We did a little digging around. It turns out, in the movie, his name is never given as Professor Van Helsing. It's never given out that way. In the movie, in the credits, his only name that he's given is Priest. That's it. So apparently what they did is he essentially is the oh my God, I can't even talk. The Van Helsing character. But they decided to make him a priest instead of a professor, a scientist, so to speak. Yeah. Instead of him being like this big vampire hunter, he's just a priest who's trying to do well. And I thought he did a good job playing the role. But the bottom line is, he is the Van Helsing character, just kind of a reinterpretation of said character. Does that kind of sound like what they were talking about, pretty much?
Yeah, because it says Van Helsing is actually included, but he is not named Van Helsing.
Bingo.
As he has been reimagined as a priest.
Yeah, pretty much what I said.
Yeah, since Christopher Waltz plays a never named priest and seen it all guy.
He's never given a name the whole movie.
Nope.
They never call him anything, just priest.
Who acts as the film's version of the famous vampire slayer instead of a professor. This version is a clergyman who hunts vampires with religious fury.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me.
And he wanted to focus on romance over horror.
You know what? That I really agree with that. I feel like they did concentrate more on the romance aspect versus the horror. Even though it's a Dracula film, it does have a little bit of like spooky gothic atmosphere here and there. It doesn't feel like your typical horror movie by any means. So, and also going into Christoph Waltz, I do enjoy his performance here. But I can't say, and no disrespect to him if he ever sees this, no disrespect. I love you and everything I've ever seen you in. But if I got to talk about the best Van Helsing of all time, I got to go with Peter Cushing. I'm sorry. That dude, he played the role so well. He was such a badass. Which is funny because I actually didn't see the Hammer horror films because those were the films he was in as Van Helsing. I saw From Dusk Till Dawn first before I ever saw the Hammer films. So I didn't get the reference in the movie when the kid talks about, oh, you just put two sticks together, you make a cross, and Tom Savini's character's like, oh yeah, that's right. Peter Cushing does that all the time. Didn't get the reference the first time I saw it. I remember thinking, Peter Cushing, what the hell? Because I knew the name, but I'd never seen them. Now it hits a lot better at this point in time, but good interpretation of the character, bottom line. Definitely one of the better ones, in my opinion. Another thing I can appreciate for this movie is that I really think it was a pretty decent period piece. From the original time from Dracula when he ends up losing his wife in the first 15 minutes. I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, if you know the Dracula story, you're probably familiar with that. But I thought the way everything looked down to the castle, the way the insides looked, all the designs going on. The armor that Dracula wore, I thought looked pretty sick, especially the helmet. The helmet was pretty nice. Leading into the 400 years later in the, the 1800s, right? Yeah, 14, right. And yeah, to 1400s to the 1800s, and even all the set designs that were going on, the costumes, everything. I thought they really did a good job on that. Between this and the Frankenstein, the Del Toro Frankenstein movie from recent, both of them had some pretty good production design, in my opinion. I can really appreciate it.
I would like to see Del Toro do this movie and see how he would bring.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we need to wait a while before we get another Dracula film.
I know, but I'd like to see.
Maybe down the road. Because last year we got a Nosferatu remake. Now we got another Dracula remake. I think we're good for a while. What do you think? What do you guys think? I think we're good. Another thing I really did enjoy about this movie happened. Okay, so in this movie there is no Renfield. They don't even reference the Renfield character. The Harker character, he does show up at Dracula's castle, just like in the novel. But apparently, when he gets more or less captured by Dracula and he has a conversation with him, Dracula gives him a final wish. Like, oh, what's your final desire, final wish, whatever. He literally wants to hear Dracula's story. So let me get this straight. He's asking for the vampire to tell his life story.
I would like to know a life story like that. That sounds very interesting.
But doesn't that sound a little familiar to anybody? A guy listening to a vampire talk about his life. Yes. Isn't there a movie like that?
Yes, Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, that's right. Interview with the. I actually dug the whole. It gave us a lot of exposition with the character, him talking to Harker. I liked the way it played out. That we could learn more stuff about him, and the way it was handled, I thought was pretty good.
Well, you see, Renfield was supposed to be like the lunatic. This is the best way.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, but I mean.
So they didn't show Renfield in this movie.
Yeah, in this movie, he's not even in the film whatsoever.
But they do show them walking through an asylum where Renfield would have lived.
Which is true. Which makes me wonder if maybe any one of those characters was supposed to be like a hidden reference. And we just didn't know. Because when they were in the asylum, I was looking at every single inmate. Like, is there anybody eating flies or anything? Is there anybody weird like that? You know what I mean? But
no,
there wasn't.
No.
There really wasn't. But which is too bad. That would have been a golden opportunity to have like a reference to the character from the original 1931 film. But
they had other references.
They sure did, and we'll get into that here in just a bit. We're just covering all the positives of the movie.
Well, I like the choreography.
Okay, we have to talk about this too. So, in a lot of the previous Dracula films that we've got over the years, adaptations, that's the word I was looking for, typically they always have Dracula being this like irresistible person to the ladies, right? He always gets the chicks, basically. So, in this movie, it's not so much anything about him that draws the women in. Apparently, he managed. Get that off. Get off. I see these things more, and I'm trying to get them off. I don't want to see them, but I'll probably edit that out, maybe. But anyway, he always has the ability to bring in the ladies just by his natural charm or whatever it is about him, his animal magnetism, whatever the hell. Not in this film. No, in this film, at some point in the past, he manages to get his hands on a fragrance. that essentially, let's be fair here, it's love potion number 9. In a general sense.
I don't know. That's like some ecstasy kind of shit.
Yeah, because all he has to do is walk into any random place where a bunch of women are dancing and whatnot, and he just puts a little here, puts a little here. Next thing you know, the ladies are all over him. So much so that he's able to control them. And throughout the years, throughout the centuries, they do these various scenes where he's controlling all the women who are all dancing in unison. And I agree. The choreography for that wasn't too bad. It was actually kind of fun to see. Like, okay, really, he's using a perfume to control women. It's kind of cheating,
Instead
isn't it?
of his own scent, like he was supposed to.
Exactly. It's like, isn't that kind of cheating a little bit?
But he would probably.
But whatever works, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's the whole purpose of what he's doing is he's trying to find his long lost love. Like, he renounces his faith, and that's why he can't die. And he's going through the centuries trying to find her, going so far as to actually, I guess, hire people to try to do the dirty work for him when he couldn't go out anymore. Essentially, another aspect of the movie I definitely enjoyed was they establish early the idea about what works against a vampire. They do emphasize that it's not so much being out in light that kills the vampires, which I've always thought about this. Couldn't a vampire, technically speaking, go out in broad daylight as long as they weren't in direct sunlight? And this movie establishes that exact idea. If you go out and there's like an overcast, they won't get hurt. They have to be hit directly by sunlight in order to be affected negatively. But I really liked how they established that very early on in the film. And for a while there, I was raising the question. It looked like Dracula, at least a few times throughout the movie, was out in broad daylight. And I remember thinking, okay, wait a minute, why is he not affected? But she brought up the idea that, well, maybe it's an overcast. And it's like, well, I can't remember if it looked like he was in direct sunlight or if there was an overcast. I'll have to watch the movie again down the road and really kind of pay attention. But then again, that's not exactly a problem around here because I kind of want to watch it again anyway. That's what we do.
Yeah, because you need to see the end fighting scenes again.
Okay, yes, I dozed off a little bit towards the end of the movie. I only got a few hours sleep before we did a double feature, so I missed a couple of scenes during the tail end of the film. There was a big battle that happened in Dracula's castle. I kind of missed portions. I didn't miss all of it. I only missed portions of it.
I saw it, though.
Good for you.
Thank you.
And there was a battle sequence in the opening as well that I thought was well handled. I liked how they poured a whole bunch of like gasoline in front of Dracula's army and lit it on fire that way.
Might have been more like alcohol.
It could have been whatever it was flammable. So essentially you got this wall of fire in front of Dracula's army before they go out and attack the other army. And I thought that was a nice touch. My only real complaint, out of everything I've talked about as a positive and analyzing, the only thing I didn't care for was the editing of the opening fight sequence. I feel like some of the editing was a little bit too quick. A lot of quick cuts going on. I felt like it made it a little difficult to really enjoy. I don't like it when there's a lot of quick cuts. Go see Resident Evil, the final chapter. You'll see what I'm talking about. No es bueno. No es bueno. But that's really the only negative I can think of about this movie, honestly. Well, at least until I get a repeat viewing. And because usually, if I don't see a whole lot of negative the first time, when I go watch it a second time, I'll start to see more things that maybe I just didn't catch the first time or that didn't stand out as much the first time around. It happens.
Just make sure you get some sleep first.
Well, the next time I see this will probably be on streaming, so I'll have a pause feature.
If you're awake to pause it.
You know I can just replay it, right?
Yeah.
See, your logic is deniable. Yeah, your logic.
Can I tell you about my Dracula trivia?
Okay, well, hold on. I think that was everything in my notes that I wanted to cover for the movie, but she found out a couple of little factoids that she wanted to cover. So, fine. I will let you cover some factoids. What you got?
The portraits displayed in Dracula's Grand Dining Hall are designed to resemble actors who portrayed Dracula in earlier scene adaptations.
I can't wait to watch it again so I can see that. So I want to see a Bela Lugosi one. I want to see Christopher Lee, and I want to see Gary Oldman. I want to see all three of those portraits.
Serving as a visual homage to previous interpretations of the character.
There have been quite a few.
There was quite a few pictures. So.
Well, I mean, for all we know, they could have also done the likeness from Dracula Untold, which I saw years ago, only the one time. There's also, what's the other one I was thinking about before? Oh, from the Van Helsing movie. He might be one of the portraits as well. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to take a look at that and really see it. You know what I mean? What else you got? Oh, you mentioned about Zoe, the one that played Anina, who played the wife who got killed. Yes. You said Zoe Blue, I think was her name.
Zoe Blue is the daughter of actor Rosanna Arquette.
Well, if that's not some lineage right there, shoot. Damn, that's pretty good. I honestly did not know that.
And I give her kudos for not using the Arquette name and actually using, being her own person.
You know what? I can appreciate an actor doing that, trying to make it on their own accord, not necessarily using their parents' names. A lot of people in Hollywood do.
I love the gowns in the movie, though. Those were really nice.
And that goes into the whole, what I was saying about the period piece, the costume design. The costumes look really nice.
They were made in France, a lot of the gowns.
And that makes sense, being a French film, so I agree. It was a very nice movie to look at, overall.
And the silk was from Japan. It was sourced from Japan, but made in France.
Pretty cool. Well, I think that does it for all the factoids. I think there's nothing else I wanted to talk about as far as the first viewing of the movie. I think we kind of tackled a lot of different subjects that came to mind. Overall, I really enjoyed this. I dare say, I think I enjoyed this movie. I mean, I already said that I wasn't the biggest fan of the Ford Coppola film, but in terms of Dracula films, this is going to go down as one that I would love to have in my collection at some point. And I really do want to watch both the Coppola film, Ford Coppola film, and this one, like back to back, and just kind of do like a comparison. Maybe even do a deep dive at some point down the road once this movie eventually becomes available. I don't know when that'll happen, but you better believe I'll be keeping an eye out. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But I think that pretty much covers it. I think there was nothing else we wanted to cover. I think that pretty much does it.
Yeah. Right? Sorry, my brain's a little blood.
It's okay. It's been a long day. We did a double feature. It's getting kind of late. I still got a lot of editing to do, and I'll tell you what, I might take a break at some point so I can finally play some goddamn Metroid. Metroid Prime 4. I haven't played it yet. Not my Switch 2 copy anyway. I will say this though, a final note. Between watching Del Toro's Frankenstein movie and now this Dracula film, even my son, he really enjoyed the Frankenstein movie. Sorry, I keep seeing this damn speck on my shirt. Even he really enjoyed it, so much so that he made the comment about it was a really sad story. And that tells me that not only was he really paying attention, he was getting into it, but he understood what the story was about. And I feel like that's a really powerful thing. And to this day, I've never read, don't say anything, I've never read Frankenstein or Dracula.
You call yourself a reader.
Well, you know what? And to be fair, I read like crazy when I was a kid. When I got older and started working at the theater, I kind of fell out of reading as much. A couple of years ago, I was working at a location where I actually did read like 5 different Stephen King books in less than a month and a half because I had nothing better to do when I was at work. I was literally just sitting there, so I read. But I think it's about time that I get into this.
I think you'll finish fast.
I think so too. And I think it's about time I finally do this. This has been long overdue. I want to be able to compare, and this is something I would love to do on the channel later. Finally read these books, go back and watch all my favorite films throughout the years for both of them, and just kind of do maybe like a rating system and talk about, like which movie did it better.
Yes, my child read those when she was 5.
Rub it in. The fact that I haven't read them. Rub it in. Come on. Rub it in. It's like salt on an open wound. Yeah. Anyway, anything you want to say before we cut this short?
Thanks for putting up with me for the whole 2 movies.
And we hung out all day yesterday too, but somehow she thinks I can't deal with her. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. We also went to go see Crime 101. I'll be working on the notes. That'll be coming out later this week as well. Keep an eye out for my review for Strangers Chapter 3. Haven't done that yet. I'm going to. There wasn't a lot good to say about it, but there was a little. But anyway, no more goofing around. We'll go ahead and cut this short, cut it down here. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed this. Anything you want to add, feel free to leave a comment. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. There will be more movie reviews and more JP's Watch List coming your way. I put that one out yesterday, and I'm surprised it's already getting some hits. And you know what? Let's keep that going. Let's keep the ball rolling on that. But in conclusion, everybody, take care of yourselves. Please be safe. Just don't forget to have fun. Just not too much fun.